And I'm pretty sure they stopped making that syrup.
The 15-Minute Morning Show podcast. Hi, guys. How you
Hello.
doing?
Hello.
Hey, bro. Thanks for filling in yesterday and doing an excellent job. I think I should take more days off. I was loving...
Whatever keeps you happy and in a good mood.
I was loving all 5 seconds of the show I listened to yesterday. It was great.
Oh, my gosh.
And I'm in a great mood today.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
So anyway, thank you for hosting Straight Nate. So do you guys want to talk to Straight Nate about any constructive criticism he may need to hear?
Oh, I actually Gandhi gave me some good. I actually would appreciate any critiques. Not that I'm going to be doing this on a long time.
What did Gandhi give you as advice?
She said,
I would like the record to reflect I was asked first.
Yes.
It wasn't like I just came out like, hey, Nate, I'd like to adjust some things.
So Gandhi didn't pull that, you know what your problem is?
No, I thought he did a great job.
no, because Gandhi's worked with other shows, so I kind of wanted her opinion because she's, sat in on other jocks and stuff like that. She goes, I think you did a great job. Your flow is perfect. Was this a compliment sandwich? If I have to say anything, I'd say more energy or owning/opening the brakes. You're very calming. I like jarring people. Yeah, that's good. That's very good advice because listening back, I listened back for a second. I hate listening to my own voice. I'm like, yeah, I do sound a little low key, don't I?
Well, I think he's just so calm. You're very calm because you have to be to keep the rest of us in check for most of the time. So when you open the brakes, he's very calm. And I always thought that when you open the brakes, you kind of have to hit with energy to get people awake and know that you're back and that kind of thing. Aside from that, I think he does a great job.
Yeah. You're like a 4 out of 10, like coming out of the brakes.
No, that's not true.
I'm sorry. Everybody asks for criticism, and as soon as I give criticism, no.
Well, 4 was a little low.
I think you're a little sing-songy sometimes.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I do that here. Okay, so the difference between me on the show when Elvis is hosting is I'm more of a character, right? But when you're the host, you kind of have to be the straight guy. No offense, Elvis. And let other people play off of you, right?
Right.
So
I guess.
Even though you are good at doing both, Elvis, you kind of have to just let other people be the comic relief characters and poke fun at them.
Wow, I'm learning a lot about this.
Wow, look at this.
Hey, and also remember yesterday you used the word lovely 3 times in one sentence.
Hey, that first break's tough, man. I haven't hosted in however long.
And I think he just didn't want to insult people because last time he insulted someone. So this time he was like, just not insult people.
Yeah, you were a little insulting. Yeah. I think you did great, and I did listen more than 5 seconds, and I thought everyone sounded like you were having a lot of fun.
You know what's
and that's
funny
all that
though?
matters.
Because I've asked Elvis before after I host, I'm like, hey, so I need your opinion. And you're like, I don't know, just do it.
That's totally him.
That's really my advice. Just do it.
I mean, here's the thing. It's so you make it look so easy that you can't even explain it because it's so second nature. It's like breathing. You'd be like, I don't know, you just breathe. You know,
do it.
You just do it.
I don't know.
So thank you for nothing.
But it would be silly for me to try to tell you what I think you should do because I want you to do what you want to do because that's what makes you unique. And that's the thing about the show. Everyone on the show has a unique personality, has their own point of view, and sometimes we don't always agree, but it's needed, you know? Mm-hmm. So Froggy, for instance, if you're hosting the show today, what would you do? Like, what kind of show would you host?
Well, I mean, I love the games that we play. So I love the nostalgia games, like when we play the 90s game or the 90s music, stuff like that. And then I love when we talk about just when we talked a few minutes ago about the names that we call each other. I love stuff like that. It's fun, it's real life, and it's relatable, and people can talk about it later on in the day because it's real life stuff that's happening to people. I love the stuff like that we do.
Right. I was talking to Froggy yesterday, by the way, and before you know it, we got off the phone. It was 40 minutes. Like we like almost hosted our own sports podcast yesterday over the phone. And before I was like, where did 40 minutes go? Like I was just talking to Froggy like it was nothing. It felt like 2 minutes.
I would love to play golf with Gandhi now that we're doing this.
This says a lot about your relationship as friends. Yeah, Gandhi's now a golfer.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know about all that. It took me a long time to figure out how to actually make contact with the ball, but now that I figured it out, it's over. Now I'm going to be great.
It's starting
I can
a
feel
fight
it.
in my house.
Why? Does Lisa want to golf with you?
No, well, she said before, like, well, maybe I could learn. And I'm like, no, it's okay. Like, it's long and it's this. I'm like, it's not really, Now she's like, oh, Gandhi likes it. Well, if Brandon's got the patience to teach Gandhi, why can't? I'm like, oh, here we go.
Oh, boy.
Okay, but you tell Lisa this. It wasn't Brandon that had the patience to teach me. It's me being super irritating. And when I cannot do something, I make him take me until I can figure it out. Because I was watching everyone else hit the ball like, wait a minute. How come they can all do it and I can't do it? So I wanted to do it myself.
It looks so
just
easy.
to know that I could. And it works. Yeah, it does look easy. It's not easy at all.
It's not.
Woo, I
Is
was
golf
catching
the
some
third
air.
thing you've learned over quarantine? Golf, painting, and guitar?
Yeah, I mean, they're works in progress, all of it. I haven't learned any of it. I'm learning, but yeah, working on it.
I love that. You know what? At some point, we take it from me. At some point, you give up learning things, and you have to force yourself. Your drive to learn new things, for some reason, it evaporates sometimes if you're not careful. And so I have to force myself to go read up on things, to set time aside to read or listen to a book or whatever. Because otherwise, I just sit there and I don't know what I would do. I would just sit there and then stare off into space.
I think some
Seriously.
people think like if I haven't done it by now, if I haven't learned it by now, I'm not going to be able to learn it, or I don't have the patience, which you really do if you think about it, and you really can still learn it.
I have an idea. Danielle, you made me think of something. Why don't we all take on a challenge and learn something new?
Okay.
It could
I
be
like it.
It could be a language. It could be a guitar. It could be a trumpet. It could be, oral sex. Who wants to help me with it?
Oh,
That's a good one.
I raised my hand way too. I raised my hand way too fast for that. That's another conversation.
Oh my
Way too fast.
Froggy.
I'll be
when's
the
last time-
Resusci Annie doll.
Okay. Brody, when's the last time you learned something new and you're like, wow, this is great. I'm so happy I did this.
I'll have to get back to you on that.
Okay.
Well, okay, to be fair, I would have to get back to you on that as well. I think it's something you sometimes have to force yourself to do. You've got to okay, I'm going to learn how to change a tire,
Yep.
like Scary has to learn.
I feel like I just did that with the kids with playing ball. Like I never go out and play baseball and know how to catch and pitch and all that stuff. And Spencer was teaching me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm actually catching the ball. I caught more balls than I dropped. This is amazing. Maybe this is something I could have done. Maybe I could have played softball. All these things go in my head, and I get
Froggy.
excited now.
I remember,
Shut up, Froggy. I didn't mean it
Oh,
that
so have you
way.
caught more balls or dropped them? Which ones have you done more of?
I think it's about 50-50.
You guys make it so dirty.
Oh, we're the only ones.
I didn't.
Froggy's usually the first person to make it dirty.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I think we all think the dirty thought, but Froggy responds to the dirty
Correct.
thought.
Correct.
Yeah.
I apologize. I'm sorry, Danielle.
No, no.
And my
Wholesome
son is
conversation.
standing actually right next to me. Froggy's talking about me dropping balls. Don't listen.
It was more catching balls than dropping.
Whatever. Catching, dropping, whatever. Stupid.
So is this really the kind of show you like, Frog? Just us sitting around just bullshitting? Is that what it is?
I do because I think it's fun. I think it shows off, like you said earlier, we each have an individual personality. None of us are the same. And it shows off our individual personalities, but there's little pieces of our personality that are all very similar as well. It's like Danielle and I, as much as Danielle likes to call me slapnuts and tell me to shut the fuck up all the time, Danielle and I are a lot alike, man. Let me tell you
Yeah,
right now.
it's
much
very
so.
scary. It's very scary.
I don't know. I find each one of you very interesting and unique, as I've said before. The person who I'll never quite figure out, this person is that painting on the wall that's always kind of crooked, and you'll straighten it up and you'll turn back around and it's crooked again, is Scotty B.
Yeah. Definitely. He's crooked.
You're a work of art. You're a work of art.
No, I think it's a compliment what I just said about you, but does anyone agree? Scotty B definitely is
Totally.
a very unique individual.
Whenever
Yes.
he says something, I'm shocked. I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. Or I can't believe he just said that. Always.
I guess
He's
lots
an
of
onion.
weird things have just happened to me over my life. I mean, I don't feel like I'm different than anyone else.
Well, I think that the things haven't necessarily happened to you as much as you've made them happen, which does kind of make you the sideways picture on the wall.
Yeah.
You do sort of walk out in front of the moving bus a lot.
You do.
Yeah, it's interesting.
You really do.
I love it, though.
And most of the stuff you've done, we can't even talk about.
Right.
And we talk
Right.
about a lot of stuff you have done.
Yeah, no, there's a few we can't.
And,
Oh my gosh.
And I'm
Bud
pretty
Lights
sure they
and you'll hear
stopped
'em.
making that syrup.
Oh, God.
Wow.
See, you open this door, Scotty.
I
Give him a
can't.
Bud Light, and you'll get the whole story.
Oh, my God.
Give me $1, I'll give you the whole story.
Wow, Brody's a cheap tell. He didn't give a damn.
Damn.
It's a great story.
How we doing on time, Froggy?
We have 5 minutes left.
Wow.
Oh, shoot, really?
Fuck. Fabulous.
Froggy, it would be your new favorite story. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, I've heard the story. I'm just not going to do that to Scotty.
Oh,
It's
okay.
not fair to him.
No, it's not.
But why does he bring that shit up? Like, why do you bring it up if you don't want someone to say, what syrup? And then you want us to ask. Like,
Just
really?
a tease, that's all.
Right,
Make up
because
your
everyone
own
in the
story.
room knows the syrup story.
By the way,
Yeah.
He's
that's
making
a
us
hint
laugh.
at the story.
Yes, it is. Create your own ending.
I don't think I know the syrup story.
No, it's better off. Better off.
You
There's
guys, I'm pretty sure you do.
We've
you know
talked
statute of
about
limitations.
this. We've
Am I
talked
part-
about it on this podcast.
We have?
We've done the
Statute of
syrup
limitations.
story.
As
I don't
long as I'm
remember.
not part of the syrup story. I'm
No,
all
you're
good.
not.
No.
Okay,
You're
good.
not.
Good.
But Miss
Wait,
Butterworth is.
Mrs. Butterworth. Okay.
There were
So yeah,
hotel rooms and
painting on
bed
the wall
sheets.
that painting on the wall that's always crooked is Scotty B, and I served it up as a very, very high compliment.
Well, don't straighten me out, please.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
no one will be able to do that.
Just waiting for that.
You know what's funny, Elvis, is I think of all of us, the 9 of us that are in this room, I still think that one of the most, not strange, but somebody with the best stories ever is Uncle Johnny. Like, if you sit down with Uncle Johnny and have him tell you stories, he can tell you some stuff that it is better than any story time you've ever heard from anybody ever.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Because he has that magical way of telling the story. And secondly, he has been around so many years. He's been in positions that none of us will ever be in.
A lot
Yes,
of people
he
have been
has been.
around many years, but Johnny, there's a difference, and I learned this saying after I'd had my aneurysm. There's a difference in breathing and living. Uncle Johnny lived. He's been here a lot of years, yes, but let me tell you, he has packed a ton of entertainment into those years that he's been here, and to have him tell you is unreal.
I don't know if you remember this, but when we were in Miami one day, you and I and Uncle Johnny were at the Fountain Blue at 9 o'clock in the morning at a cabana.
I do.
For about an hour and a half waiting for everybody to show up. I guess we got the time wrong. And Johnny just sat there spitballing stories that I had never heard before. And Froggy and I were just in hysterics, in laughter
Yes.
for an hour. You remember that, Frog?
I do. And
Yeah.
that same trip in Miami, actually, Lisa went with Uncle Johnny somewhere. They went somewhere for a couple hours. And when she got back to the room, she was nonstop telling me she had the best time. This story, this story, this story, this. She couldn't believe it. I love being around
He
Uncle
is
Johnny.
a national treasure. We love Uncle
Maybe
Johnny.
we should
really
write a
is.
book. I mean, has he ever thought about writing a book?
We've tried that, and I need someone. He needs to sit down and tell his stories to someone who can write them
I got
down.
Monday figured out, the podcast figured out next week. It's Tell a Story with Uncle Johnny. So he'll tell us all the story for 15 minutes, and that's it. Podcast
Okay.
done.
That's a great idea.
I'll be at your house.
Yeah, we'll have Uncle Johnny on the podcast. We just got to get him to sign on. That takes an hour. or
Yeah.
two.
This is true.
Any other thoughts we want to purge and get out in the open? Any concepts anyone would like to investigate or study?
I think Nate did a great job yesterday. He
Yeah.
needs
I
more
think
of
so,
that.
too.
And I'm very. I know he did. See, I don't have to listen to Nate anymore. I know he does a great job.
Yeah.
And his
like to
hair
talk-
looks good now. His
I
hair
would like
looks
to call
fabulous.
Nate out on one thing, though.
Oh, okay, Brody.
Uh-oh.
So when he was telling the story about how he found out you wanted the day off, he told us that you called him. But when he said the story, he said, yeah, Elvis called me. He said, hello, handsome. I got something to tell you. Like, he needed to throw in the part where you said, hello, handsome to him.
That is true.
No,
Very good,
God.
Coach.
Which is,
It was not necessary to tell the story, but I just had to throw.
yes, it was necessary to Nate.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that really?
Well, the text said your first text was "Hi, handsome," and maybe you were buttering me up to take the day off, but it worked.
Well,
Oh, he's the boss. He doesn't have to butter you up.
Right. He just said, I'm off.
You know,
He could have
when we
said, hey,
signed
crap,
off yesterday,
crap
when we
nuts
signed
on
off
this
Be
guy.
handsome
yesterday,
all the time.
What's that, Scary?
when we signed off yesterday, I told Nate, I said, I got to say, it just, and this is frightening, but it seemed so effortless. And I think we got into this examination of just the way we all approach this show. There's something to be said for that, as opposed to like somebody who has prep in their hands, and they're saying, all right, so now we're going to talk about this, and I'm going to say this, and you're going to say that. And, like, nobody has ever done that on this show ever, and I think that makes us better people. I don't know.
Here we go, tooting our own horn again.
Well, no.
We are great. We are so good.
Tell them what I told you after the show.
You create a very comfortable environment. Being natural on this show is easy, and it's very, very hard to do for other people.
Well, we've been told we're doing it wrong all these years.
Well,
you know that.
I think
all
they're
the professionals,
doing it wrong.
all the professionals are saying, you know what, they don't get it. Yes.
I remember a couple of weeks ago you called me and you said, "Hey, funny man, you're so smart. Just be yourself." I remember that. You did.
Word
You
for
said
word.
That was a dream you had, right?
Did I really?
No.
Because if I did that, I'm brilliant.
Yeah.
I got a text that said, "Don't tell Nate I find you more handsome, but hey, do you mind doing this favor for me?" So that's how he started the text to me.
Oh,
There
nice,
is
nice, Garrett, nice.
Sorry. All right, well, we're way over. We can sit here and just honk our own horns
Enough
all
about
day
us. Let's
long.
talk about us.
I actually sent Elvis a text last night, and he insulted me, so I'm just being real.
There you go.
I sent you this
Texted you
text.
back,
Yes,
Froggy.
I sent you this. Okay, read this. It says, "I'm seriously the nicest and meanest person you'll ever meet. Now fuck off and have a great day." And Elvis wrote, "You're only half of that."
Take it as you wish.
He meant nicest, I'm
Froggy,
sure.
what's it like to get a text back from him? Tell us all.
It took hours, but I got one.
We gotta go. We gotta go. Scary Sean.
We gotta go. Have a beautiful day.
Bye.
Bye.